course, we already also supporting other technologies, and all that technology stack, because everybody has also its packages, and yeah, you can't comply always to this stack, but our target stack is mainly for in-house built applications, so all in-house built applications has to comply to the new stack. And yeah, when you start this open source database, it's you have to build or start with a business case. And to start with a business case, you have to identify the right application. So yeah, for the business case, of course, you try to find applications where you have the fastest return on investment. What we did, we identified two systems. One system was a reporting system. That's an in-house built Java application which had very basic DBMS features, or used basic DBMS features. And the other one was also an in-house built application for the risk system, built on base of C++, but which was using very specific DBMS features. And these two applications we used for the business case and also for the first assessment, where Michel will talk later on. On the other hand, if you have chosen at the end an application or an open source database, you won't start with the most critical application, of course. So in our case, we started with a very small application, newly built, using, in this case, EnterpriseDB. And what's also important, you have to start, of course, with an application which has a low service level, so you can have some step to grow into your maturity.
So then we defined our approach how to, let's say, how to do this project. And we thought what was really important is that we discovered up front that there was quite a big project going on, from just, let's say, migrating, having one system on Oracle and in production, and then getting another system on EnterpriseDB in production. So there were a lot of steps in between. And we wanted to clearly define a number of steps, and with every step we wanted to be able to say, okay, it's not possible to do it, we want to stop here. So we defined a number of steps here. First of all, there was an ABN AMRO had to decide, okay, which database are we going to use then? So that they had to figure out first. Then we would do an assessment and see, let's say, whether the application would run on that environment, and the assessment was just a global overview to say, okay, how easy or how difficult will this migration be, and we can put a figure to that. It's a standard step we have. We can do that with every project, and out of that just comes a figure. So hard or so easy is it to do this migration. After the assessment, if we would have a go for going further with the migration, we defined 3 different proof of concepts. One was will the application run against the new environment? The next one was ABN AMRO wanted to have their systems high available, so can we build a high available environment for them 24/7? And last but not least, there was also a performance proof of concept, because there was a high demand of transaction rates, and there was a really huge database, and we had to figure out whether the current figures with Oracle could be matched within EnterpriseDB.
Okay, so this is the first step. It was the DBMS choice. So we started with some requirements. Of course, one of the requirements that we want to replace one of our existing database management systems. We looked at service levels. We wanted to have that the database was be able to support the highest service level we had at the end. Skills learning curve was important, because we want to reuse the skills of our current DBAs. Maturity level of the product itself. Yeah, we are, as a bank, we are not in front of all the new technologies, so we are more a follower. So we want to have a product which was already proven into the market, and of course should be cost effective. And last but not least, the support model. We were looking really for a product which could be supported in the market, because we don't want to do the support ourselves and build all the knowledge on this. We did, of course, also some Gartner research. Maybe that's my first tip. it always helps Gartner reports to convince your management to go for a certain direction. So it's very good to do this. So we ended up with a shortlist with 3 products: Ingress, Postgres, SQL, and MySQL. Now, yeah, when we made this choice, MySQL was quite easy because it soon was just taken over by Oracle, so we thought it was not good idea to go on with this. So then 2 were left, and then, yeah, if we look at the future perspective, we saw that Postgres had indeed had more chances. Yeah, it was just a better product on the long run. And another thing was important that we had in a branch in Europe, we had already running a small Postgres instance, and people there were very positive on this. So we decided to go on with the next step with Postgres SQL.
Well, maybe a little side step with Postgres. Those of you who don't know what Postgres is, well, it's one of the databases being around for a really long time, for more than 20 years. It's an open source database. And with Postgres, let's say you have a really nice product if you start to use that. It's famous because of its performance. It's famous because you can have loads of massive number of users working at the same time in your database. We have some customers in Germany who have online gaming systems, and they have 250,000 users at the same time on one Postgres instance, for example. And what we see is that really big companies nowadays start to choose for this open source database. But of course, if you have this project, this database, you don't have any support. If you have a support issue in your environment, probably there will be a volunteer out there willing to help you, but you don't have any estimates on when this, let's say, problem will be solved. There's no ticketing system, you don't get a ticket with an issue number. There's no alerting about, okay, there's a security leak somewhere, maybe it's good for you to migrate to the next version of Postgres. None of those things, and of course, yeah, you can say there's no support on it. If you choose for EnterpriseDB, which is built on top of Postgres, you get a number of things extra. Of course, you get PostgreSQL as the open source database, which will run on various platforms and all the big Linux flavors we have. And on top of that, in PostgreSQL, there are 2 main important things, I think, for the ABN AMRO. 2 main important things were support. There was support in this project, so you have a help desk which you can call, and you get a ticket with your issue, and you get some follow-up within the next couple of hours, and they either provide you a workaround, they can provide you a patch for this product. So support is, let's say, similar as support you have with closed source databases. There is some tooling around it with EnterpriseDB. Think about a migration toolkit to migrate over from Oracle to Postgres, those kind of tools. And one of the other things that was really important for the ABN was, of course, the Oracle compatibility, which is in the EnterpriseDB product. Well, the Oracle compatibility, what does that mean? That means that it understands syntax like Oracle understands the syntax. It's an extension built within Postgres. It's another database language which exactly looks like the PLSQL language which we have in Oracle. And the nice thing about it, it's not a one-time migration. If you go from Oracle to EnterpriseDB, it understands the syntax of Oracle. If you put a stored procedure into EnterpriseDB within the Oracle syntax and you will ask that stored procedure back from the database, you will find the Oracle syntax again. So it will understand the Oracle syntax, so you don't do a one-time migration. Well, the supportability and the Oracle compatibility were, of course, 2 things we heavily used within the ABN AMRO project.
Okay, next slide is a bit of sidestep, but it's important for the rest of the presentation. So at the end, this is the application architecture of the application, where first of all the business case was built on the with this application we also moved from Oracle to EnterpriseDB. It's called the client reporting system, which we're using for clients to have a global reporting of all their transactions and positions. It's quite simple from left to right. We have regional, we have our clearing applications. The clearing applications are feeding real-time all their transactions, positions into an integration layer or service bus. Service bus is built on top of web methods. Application layer is doing message transformation, message enrichment, filtering, and then at the end puts everything in the report data store. And that's where Postgres is used for. And then in the night we are doing static reporting for the clients, and that's based on Pentao BI. And then we are distributing the stuff to the clients. Then we have also the portals on top, and that's based on JBoss. And what we are working on is also an ad hoc reporting tool where clients can make their ad hoc reporting themselves, and that's also based on Pentao. If you look at the numbers in this system, we didn't connect all the clearing systems yet, so we're doing on average 8 to 10 million transactions positions a day. The report data store today is 2 terabytes, and we want to keep there for 2 years, so it will grow probably to 4 to 6 terabytes at the end.
Okay, I saw that we have less than 5 minutes left, so I'm going to talk really fast here. First, this is the standard assessment with the report figure, and for the ABN AMRO we had a report figure of 9. It covers several areas, and what was interesting is some of the features which were used in Oracle were not covered within Postgres, and we think about the partition indexes, which is in Oracle but not in Postgres, and the use of profiles. It was for them easy to go around those, so there were no blocking issues there. If we talk about the implementation, Oracle supported compression, which was not used within the ABN AMRO, so that was no issue, compression within the database. And Oracle, you can use messages within the database with Oracle, which was taken outside of the database within the ABN AMRO, so there was no blocking issue there. The next step was to doing an actual migration. First we started with a migration without the data. So just take your schemas from Oracle, migrate it over to EnterpriseDB with the Oracle compatibility. We found one expected problem that was already in the assessment, because there was the messaging which was in the database that was taken outside, so that problem was solved. That was not really an issue anymore. And there were 7 unexpected problems. We all reported them back to EnterpriseDB, and they were quickly solved within the syntax of EnterpriseDB. So it was there the case that sometimes it said it was Oracle compatible, but Oracle had a syntax that it could not understand. For example, we have a default value of a column with the UTC time zone. It was a date column with the UTC time zone. That syntax was not supported, and that was afterwards implemented, and there are some other examples here. The next book was about the high availability. There we looked at all the possibilities to make this system high available, and eventually at the end we looked at the operating system clustering, so Red Hat clustering, to have one active and passive cluster for a single day in a single data center, so you can fail over within a single data center. And let's say if you have a whole data center failure and you want to migrate to another data center, we had a copy of the database there. We used streaming and replication to have 2 databases in sync. Those kind of features which I mentioned here are features which are in the open source product, so this is not specifically EnterpriseDB. The last book was the performance book. We did there a lot of setups with local storage, with let's say dedicated hardware, with VMs and SAN. We did all kinds of combinations, and we just run, let's say, the application and importing modules and see what kind of transaction rate we had. Oracle had just less than 2,000 inserts a second on the dedicated hardware with a SAN, and fairly we could easily beat that. So there was no problem beating that. Next to the insert we had the select statements. We took all the select tests we did. We looked at the number of queries and we took out, let's say, 6 big queries we had and did test with those, and we found, or 7 queries, sorry, and 6 of them were faster without change, one was slower without change, and yeah, then you have to start to look into how can I rewrite this query to make it faster, and that seems to be a problem with the optimizer within Postgres, that it makes a bad choice there.
Okay, the last slides. To be honest, I was surprised myself when we started this exercise with EnterpriseDB. When I talked to the DBAs and also to developers, they're not very enthusiastic and they had their doubts. But now we have implemented it, to be honest, quite enthusiastic, especially about performance, low learning curve. And I mentioned, of course, happy with the low subscription cost. But there is still some stuff to do. We implemented the Postgres Enterprise Manager agent, not my own words, but the DBA say it's really crap. And we found there some security issues as well. We have had problems with partitioning. We could code around it, but we're also looking into data warehouse stuff, and we think it could be a potential problem in the future. For the rest, we had to do additional stuff on backup and security, and also administration made this all based on scripting. Some DBAs love it, and otherwise are still thinking of the enterprise manager from other DBA companies. But okay, that's maybe more taste. Slide on business case. Yeah, no figures here, but at the end it's of course not only about subscriptions. We have to invest in the skills of people. We have to do investments to change the applications. We take a risk because it's a new product for us in a critical environment, so we also have to mitigate this. So we also have a cost. But at the end, I think we have our return on investment somewhere beginning of 2014, and then, in principle, then we are going to earn money on it. Conclusion. I think Nibble-IT did a good job. I think so. Choosing a partner with experience, migrating stuff to EnterpriseDB was very helpful to us. I think we took the right approach, where we have a real phased approach with small parts. I think that was also a good thing to do. I think you only have to take care to manage the return on investment expectation by the management, because what I said earlier, you first have to invest, and after that you can earn money. But I think that's normal business.
Yeah, I put there the bullet with the staffing. I think from our point of view it was important if you start such a project with a number of people and you start to define a system, when you do your proof of concept, that you go through the whole project with the same people. If other people come on board with other ideas, it can be killing for your project, and I think that's something we learned in this project. Well, Mark, talk about the next steps.
I would say we're quite happy with EnterpriseDB, and we are also planning already new projects on base of EnterpriseDB. One of them is a data warehouse we are working on now. So I think, in general we're quite happy. Okay.
Any questions?
Maybe some time for questions.
Thanks for questions. The new solution is working on the same hardware, on the old hardware, or you improved also the hardware?
No, we were running on other hardware, because the Oracle, what we used before, was running on ARX, and then also the IBM hardware, and the Postgres running on HP blades on Linux.
And how IBM did this?
Maybe nice to mention is that
changing the MQ and decommissioning the AIX, I think was not easy for IBM.
That's sorry?
How IBM took this step?
Now we still have we have our own IT department, our own data centers. So we are not part of the IT of ABN AMRO.
I understand.
Maybe nice to mention there is that Oracle was running on dedicated hardware. First, ABN AMRO wanted to also start with dedicated hardware for Postgres, but we could easily beat those performance figures. And then later on in the project was decided that we were running Postgres on VM, which was more into the new strategy of ABM, so that was a nice fit.
I understand you're a bank within a bank. But does this have any foreseeable impact on the strategy of ABN AMRO as a whole?
Yeah, it's difficult to say for me, but I think it could have, because I think ABN AMRO is also looking at the open source, as also an open source strategy, but probably they will not be so fast as ABN AMRO Clearing.
Do we have another question?
Okay, thank you.